I'ma come a little different. But I tell her, free real start federal. Hey, let's get it. Let go, let go, let go.
Oh man, we are back, bro. Holy crap. It has been too freaking long since we've hopped on the pod, man. It's the Lunch Table Podcast, episode 8. I'm Davo. That's Chabo. Let's get it rolling. Before we even jump into anything, we're going to put y'all on a song. This joint has been stuck in my head for a few days now. It's by Sunday Service Choir. It's called Satan, We're Going to Tear Your Kingdom Down. Take a listen.
Satan, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. Oh Lord. Satan, we're gonna tear your kingdom down. You've been building your kingdom all over.
I mean, bro, you cannot tell me that junk is not a banger. Holy crap. It just goes in, man. Days, bro, how you doing? Like, it's been so long since we even hopped on one of these. I know we've stayed in touch, but it's felt like a super long time since we've been able to record because of how busy we've been, bro. So let's just jump in with how you're doing, bro, and kind of give the people an update on what we up to.
Man, when we talked about it last night, y'all, Davo and I hopped on the phone probably 2.5 hours. He was driving back to Virginia, and we talked for a while. And Davo, you know I'm good, man. You know I'm in a mode right now that is 100 miles an hour. I mean, I'm everywhere and in the same place all at one time. So it's a great mode to be in. I'm creating, I'm talking, I'm just communicate. I'm everywhere. So it's good as far as my own brands, the podcast, my job, traveling, family. Everything is on 100% full cylinder right now. So it's a great place to be. So yeah, I'm good. I'm rolling. Volleyball season is in full swing. Conference play now. Just got back from Virginia, North Carolina this past weekend. So good, man. I'm rolling. It's hard to describe. I can't even describe it all in a couple sentences because there is so much stuff. But yeah, man, I'm rolling. You know, it's all good, and I'm so excited to be locked back in and have our routine and schedule kind of laid out now to where everything's consistent. Because that's exactly what we try to be.
Yeah, nah, facts, bro. Shoot, you mentioned that drive, man. 9 hours. I got into the crib at 4:30 a.m. Had to get up to shoot a press conference this morning. Golly, dog. I'm not as tired as I feel like I should be, bro. But yeah, that drive was a haul and a half. But I've been good too, man. I know we've been chopping it up, but for the people that's been watching us, you know, we ain't been able to put out an episode in a hot minute, and we are back. We're gonna be dropping every single Wednesday, every week. That's when the episodes are gonna roll out. So you know, every single week you tune in. NFL, bro. Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. I know that we talked about Atlanta specifically as a team, a lot of talent, you know, but at the same time, haven't been able to do much with that talent. And I can't lie, that man Kirk Cousins has kind of balled out. I was hating on him, bro, but he looks good. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Falcons in general look like a solid contender this year.
For sure. I mean, they're doing things the right way, and you can tell when a team has some good, whatever you want to, has a great game plan, is able to adjust, is when they're winning tough games. They're winning a lot of tough games. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're 3-2. One of those losses was by, 6 or 7 points to the Chiefs. The other ones to the Broncos by like 8 points. So it's like if they lose, it's not by a lot. And when it gets tight, they're 3-0 in tight. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're tight games. They're winning games. They're doing things the right way. Kirk looks good. You know, nobody's out here saying Kirk Cousins is MVP of the league, or nobody's saying Kirk Cousins is, going to rival a Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson every single week. But Kirk Cousins is a consistently successful quarterback in the NFL. I mean, that's just point blank kind of what it is. And his downfall has always been prime time, when the lights are the brightest. And what'd he do this past Thursday? You know what I'm saying? He went out there in overtime and won the game against a great Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. So I think I think Atlanta is heading in the right direction. We've been waiting on it for a few years, and it's the year one with a lot of new pieces for them. So we still got to see what the trajectory is in year one. I'm not gonna put all the eggs in the basket of faith in the Falcons year one, but I love the way they're headed.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that honestly, they played, it feels like every game, under the lights in prime time. They have the Thursday night matchup and Monday night, Sunday night. It's been crazy. But even with a guy like Drake London, where it kind of seemed like wasted potential for a little bit because you have Desmond Ritter at quarterback, but now that man is filthy. I think people are seeing exactly why Atlanta drafted him
Yeah.
and what he can actually do with a quarterback that can just put the ball around him. Like, you ain't even got to make it perfect. Just put it in his vicinity, and he gonna make a grab. I think I'm most impressed with him, but I agree. This team is good. Not beating the Chiefs, but having that game where it was hard fought. I mean, Kirk Cousins was not perfect by any stretch. The team wasn't perfect, but they made it close against arguably the best team in the NFL.
Right.
It's a good sign, man. It's a good sign. NFL in general, what are your thoughts, bro? I feel like this year it's kind of just all over the place. I feel like there's not just one storyline or one team people are talking about. It's wide open.
Exactly. I'd say, for example, this past weekend I watched that Bills Texans game all the way through. Was I've always liked the Bills in the sense of, Josh Allen's a great player. I'm a big Stephon Diggs fan. You know what I'm saying? I like what they've got going on, but CJ Stroud and Stephon Diggs is now on the Texans, and this I really like a lot of pieces that Houston has. And I used to love Houston when they had, Andre Johnson, JJ Watt, Matt Schwab, that kind of whole Arian Foster, that whole kind of era. So, I'm glad that Houston is getting into a new modern age franchise right now where they're doing stuff the right way. And 2 years ago, they were terrible. And now they're beating a team that 2 years ago was a Super Bowl favorite. I mean, like you're talking about, it's wide open. So, yeah, I love that Texans game. I like what they've got going on. Baltimore and the Ravens, obviously Lamar Jackson, all those guys. Shout out Rashad Bateman from Tiff County Country. I mean, they had a phenomenal game against the Bengals, phenomenal in the sense of exciting. Man, I think, like you said, with Kirk and the Falcons, same thing with Lamar. There's mistakes being made. There's plays that, show you it shouldn't be that close of a game if they would adjust a few things. But the Ravens took home a W, and I don't care if it's by 30 or by one. It's a W. So I was glad to see them take it home. A team that I've never, well, I won't say never because there was a time, but a team that I considered a poverty franchise going into this year and a lot of years that I've grown to not be a bandwagon in the sense of like I'm actually like claiming to be like a full-time fan, but a team that I'm appreciating a lot of things they've got going on from a branding perspective, from a style perspective, from a gameplay perspective is the Washington Commanders, bro. The way the Commanders are playing ball right now and the strides they're making, I'm a huge fan. I mean, I really, really like what they've got going on. I've always liked Terry McLaurin and other pieces they've had, but Jaden Daniels coming into that system, he making it shake. Well, I mean,
He's nasty.
I mean, he's nasty, man. I love back when they had RG3 and a couple other pieces back in the day. I liked the style and the way the franchise was trying to head. Obviously, injuries, XYZ the third, Kirk Cousins in that mix. But yeah, what they got going on right now, man, I'm still not a fan of the Commanders name. Not saying it should be Redskin, but whatever that. The Commanders alone, I'm like that's kind of boring. But outside of the name, I love the style, man. I really, I'm. That's a team that I followed them on social media. I'm keeping my eyes on them because that's a team that I appreciate what they've got going on right now.
Bro, I love it. I mean, I'm not even far from them. In
Yeah.
Harrisonburg, I'm 2 hours out from DC.
Mm-hmm.
I said it going in, man. And I feel like I'm a somewhat humble guy in some areas of my life. The one area I'm pretty prideful, and I'll admit it, is what I know about the quarterback position when it comes to predicting who's going to be good and who's not.
Right.
Jaden Daniels, a lot of people doubted him, bro. And I said it. He's going to be good. There's nothing you can tell me that proves why he wouldn't be. And you're seeing it. The dude is just smooth. Like, it's kind of hard to put him in one category as a quarterback
Right.
It just seems like it's natural for him. Like that's the main word that comes to my mind is natural.
Right.
He looks like he's supposed to be there. He looks comfortable. The Commanders they weren't horrible with Jane Daniels stepping in, but the Commanders are not like a loaded team with pieces. I mean, it's not like, he is being crushed by great receivers and this, that, and the other. Nah, Terry McLaurin's really good. But outside of that, man, it's been Daniels making things work. So I'm with you, dog. I'm gonna try and go out to a Commanders game. Like, bro, I was at the Jags game and it made me want to go to a Washington game
Yeah.
because I was like, dang, let me see Jaden Daniels in person.
Exactly.
Dude, oh man. I feel like that place is and was rocking
Absolutely.
with the hype that he's brought. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think as far as the NFL scope goes, you can talk about that Jags game a little bit if you want to, but I think just all over, man. I think Tampa Bay, they've got an interesting story going on. Baker Mayfield's got the opportunity. He's kind of been invested in a little bit by Tampa Bay. I think them and the Falcons will have a good bout for what the NFC South is looking like. You let me know if you got some other stories you thinking about across the league. I can think of one right now, but I'll let you talk about the Jags if you want to.
I mean, goodness, where to start. The truth about it is we're not a great team. I don't even know that we're not even a good team. You start 0-4, that's pretty rough. The win that we picked up on Sunday, Trevor looked like a quarterback.
Right.
He looked like what people said he was gonna be and hasn't been. I'm not reading into it too much. I just think this team is talent wise not very good. There's just not a lot there. So I'd be shocked if we get more than 7 wins. I almost feel like seven's too steep for this team, man. It is what it is. I don't have too much confidence in what the Jags are going to do this year, but
Right.
I'm excited for the season. I mean, heck, Mahomes has been struggling, bro. He's been really struggling, yet the Chiefs are still undefeated. The defense has stepped up. I don't know, man. Again, there's not one storyline that really sticks out to me. Like, I'm most excited about the Chiefs because I love watching Mahomes play. But yeah, I feel like the league is wide open this year, a lot more than years past, where it was, you have a few at the top and then everybody else is kind of just like, begging for scraps. No, this year, there's a lot of good teams.
Right.
And I love that.
I'll say one team that's intriguing a little bit. It'll be the last story we kind of dive into with it. We've talked about, the Bills up in New York. We talked about the Commanders in DC. We talked about the Falcons. We even went down to Florida and talked about the Bucks. Let's go a little bit further south and talk about them Miami Dolphins, because that's a
True.
team
Yeah.
that, man, all over the place, man, all over the
Yeah.
place. And right
Yeah.
now, obviously Tua and the concussion injuries and yada yada yada, and he's got a receiver that changed the trajectory of his career, and it was looking like a solid decision up until right about now, where I don't know if what Tyreek Hill's situation is really looking like right now.
Man, I get on one hand why he went to Miami. I mean, he's making a ton of money, of course, steps into a new scene. Miami's a great place to live, but you got to be thinking he's wishing he was in KC right now. I mean, golly, bro, the way the Dolphins have, I don't want to say plummeted, but there does not seem like there's a lot of hope in that team this year. There was in the past 2 seasons,
Right.
not this year.
Right.
I mean, especially with Tua, man, there's so much to unpack there. I don't even know what to say because it's like,
Yeah.
you got people telling him he needs to retire. I mean, I'm sure he wants to play. Tua probably saying, I'm putting the helmet back on, but
Exactly.
I don't know what Miami is going to do, bro, because Mike McDaniel has not been able to win any big games at all.
Yeah, I think Miami is. We just got to see how it. That's one of those where we can't make a predict. Only Miami knows what they're planning to do. And so yeah,
Sure.
That's
True.
interesting. I think, yeah, but yeah, Tyreek, man, you like you said, you know he's sitting back on some of these days, and you see Travis Kelce struggling. Patrick Mahomes ain't playing like the GOAT. XYZ, they've had, players, big names get hurt. Rasheed Rice, XYZ, Pacheco's been hurt. And what's their record,
Yeah.
Dave?
Undefeated.
That's
4-0 or
that
5-0.
shows,
5-0.
I mean, that
No,
shows,
no. 4-0, I think.
or yeah, whatever it is, undefeated. They ain't got,
Yeah, yeah.
and they've taken a lot of L's with individual guys, but they're still undefeated. That shows you the strength of an organization. And so Tyreek Hill when he's looking around in his own building and he looks around and in the back of his mind and knows what role he played on that dynasty. It'd be hard to not think about it at least.
Nah, facts. Well, what ain't hard to think about is the Commodores of the University of Vanderbilt.
Yep, yep, yep.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Alabama, #1 goes down. Bro, freaking Vandy
Yep.
and Diego Pavia
Yep.
getting the win, man. You watched it live, right?
I watched the fourth quarter live. Yeah,
Okay.
I was
Okay.
I was in High Point working on Saturday, and then we got back on the bus probably 5 o'clock, whatever. And so I watched the majority of the second half and just I was keeping up with the score, but of course I'm like I think when I checked it, Vandy was up like 20, it was like 24 to something or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, Vandy up on Bama. Like, okay, like Bama gonna come back, yada yada. It was first half. And then I saw the score was still, I saw like Vandy had the ball with like a couple minutes left. I'm like, hold on. So I tune in and man, watching that, I mean, it was every time, bro. It'd be third and 8, 3rd and 7. You like, man, Bama get a stop here, they can go score. And this kid gets a little block off the left tackle, boom, 10-yard rush, first down. Like every time they needed one more play, he gave them two. And so yeah, I mean, the thing with a Vanderbilt beating Bama is, I don't buy into the hype to the sense of, oh, Bama's cooked, like, oh, Vanderbilt's, on the rise.
Yeah.
It's 60 minutes of football, whatever it is. It'll be okay. But the selfish part in me, just, you and I have such a pride about the SEC. And when I see the GOAT in Nick Saban step down from a program that he has built to a certain level, like Alabama, the selfish, like SEC is better than everything part of me want whoever takes that job, I want them to struggle a little bit because I want it to prove the point that Saban is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I see Kalen DeBoer take the job. I'm like, and it was really fast. You know what I'm saying? It was like Saban announced on Monday he was going,
Oh, dude, it was.
and it was like Wednesday lunch. DeBoer's in the building. I'm like, what's going on? But so part of me, the reason I liked it so much is because this sounds crazy, but it's like I want to see DeBoer struggle because if he goes from Washington or if he goes from Indiana, Fresno State, Washington in a couple years and then shows up at Bama and crushes it year one, it makes it look less impressive to be inside that SEC circle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was like, oh yeah, Bama got beat by Vandy. It's not like they got beat by LSU or a Mississippi State or it's like some teams that's like competitive. Now y'all got beat by Vandy, like a team that maybe gets 2 wins a year in the SEC max, and they beat Bama. That felt good. So and as a partial Georgia fan, it was cool to see the team that a team that just that beat us and looks unbeatable lose to a team that looks unwinnable in the SEC.
Bro, it was funny. Of course, I watched the fourth quarter just like you, where, I was kind of loosely watching it with my friend Bailey. I was at his house and we were watching football. We see Vandy's up. It's kind of like, all right, but let's stop the jokes. Bama's going to come back in the second half and win, and they'll forget about it. Fourth quarter rolls around and, they pull off the miracle. But right after the game, I don't know if you saw this or not, but the sideline reporter, I'm blanking on her name at the moment.
Right.
But, I mean, dude, she is in a dead sprint. I mean, like, hauling it to grab Pavia.
Right.
And he's celebrating. Like, he just beat the #1 team in the country. He's out here, like, going crazy, bro. Running in full circles. And I've never seen anything like what I saw that sideline reporter do where, bro, she just, like, had to do whatever she could to fight through everybody.
Right.
He's sitting there grabbing that man. At first, you don't see her. It was crazy, and we'll pull up the video.
Right.
But it was cool to watch that moment as a broadcaster myself. You know, most people aren't really thinking about those things, but then I look at it and I'm like, man, like what would I do in that situation? And bro, I gotta give a shout out to that sideline reporter. I hate that I'm forgetting her name right now.
Right.
But that was crazy, dude. Crazy.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's up. As far as college football this past weekend, man, a lot of things got blown up. Any other game storylines you see this weekend that you like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tennessee going down to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, you're right. College football did get blown up this past weekend, and Michigan loses to Washington. You know, I'll say this. I was not a fan of the 12-team playoff whenever they changed it. And I'm still not necessarily a fan of it. But with results like that, with results like what we saw this past weekend, it does raise a pretty strong case saying, okay, well, Arkansas just beat Tennessee, Vandy just beat Bama. Like, maybe a 12-team playoff will be fun, and it won't be as lopsided as people are thinking. I don't know if I'm the only one, you know, where that's where my mind went with this past weekend, but that's what I was thinking was, honestly, this makes the transition to 12 teams look a bit better.
Right.
In my eyes, because I was not a fan of it, and I still don't love it.
Really?
But when you see upsets like that, I do think it kind of gives you hope that, all right, maybe a 12 seed can do something in the college football playoff.
Right. Well, I'm a little bit opposite in the fact of I like the 12-team format for a reason. Like last year, we'll take into example. If you're a Florida State fan and it's a 12-team playoff, okay, smooth. You're in the playoff, and if you win a game or two, you'll eventually get to a game where you're playing a Michigan, Georgia, Bama, XYZ. And even if your guys do play, Florida State was not beating Georgia last year under God's son in any corner of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, the part of me that likes it is when you see a Central Florida put a banner in their stadium about a national champion, you know, it's probably 10 years ago at this point, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff. I hate when people blame a system on why they're not succeeding in an opportunity. So I think with a 12-team playoff is cool. The more teams that are in here, the more games we play, the more opportunities the real big dogs are going to prove why they're the big dog. And so I think that's the reason I like it. I also think it kind of helps out with recruiting a bit. I wouldn't even be mad if they made it a 16-team playoff and all 9 conferences, excluding the Pac-12 for now, all 9 conferences, their champion gets a bid. Because then, for example, Sun Belt Conference, James Madison University. Yes, you can say if James Madison is the best group of 5 school, we're going to go to the playoff. That's a part of a recruiting pitch to a recruit that's either going to go low power 5 or high group of 5. But that's if you're the best team in group of 5. It's a little hard to make that pitch. But if you make the pitch of all we got to do is win this conference, which is still a feat in itself. But if you say, you see these Sun Belt teams that's got the same level as us, if we beat them, we're going to go play Bama for that trophy. That's a pitch where you can make, you know, a real change, and everybody's mad about NIL. Everybody's mad about the resources. Everybody's mad about the lack of media stability and fairness. If everybody goes to the same tournament, the players are going to go where they can make it to that chip. They're not going to go to a Vanderbilt or a Mississippi State if they can go to Georgia Southern and win the Sun Belt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's kind of how I view it. And I mean, you can kind of answer the question for yourself with March Madness. What's the most exciting day of March Madness? The first 2 days. Yeah. Because you get to see James Madison play Duke. You get to see Charleston Southern play Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's why, because when you see David go up against Goliath, you know Goliath is going to win 9 times out of 10, but you going to watch all 10 games to see that one. And so I think an expansion of a playoff it helps in the sense of letting it be a more objective, this is the best team because they went through the whole gauntlet. But yeah, so I think but I agree with you in the sense that I like this past weekend because as a Georgia fan, I see us lose to Bama last weekend, and in any year before this year, I'm pissed off because we just lost one game by a couple points, and now our whole season is dang near shot. Now you lose that game next week, Bama loses to Vanderbilt. Hey, we right back in this thing, top five. Let's run it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah.
to be a one or two to get that shot. You can be anywhere.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna go turn my light on because
Yeah,
I ain't needed it first. I had my window open and
Yeah.
it was doing a great job, and then I just realized, holy crap, I don't have good lighting. Let me turn that hoe on.
But
Man, we got to cover some ground in the film department. We're gonna talk about sports, but we movie fans as well, Chabo. I feel like this year there's not been a ton of great movies that have come out over the past few years. I do think there's been a lot of good ones. You already know me. I got a whole app. I review movies all the time. But I'm gonna start with you first, bro.
right.
What are you liking right now? What have you liked this year coming out of the movie wise? Yeah.
I would say some movies that I've got a little list of some that have come out this year and some of my favorites and yada yada. I think one of my favorite movie trilogies of all time is the Planet of the Apes movie series. You know, like that. I think the original trilogy, one of the most flawless beginning to end stories of all, like just great execution, great story, great villains, yada 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 yada. Shout out villains. But the new movie that just came out, The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, thing came
Yeah.
out in May. It was solid, man. I think it was a solid movie. I don't think it was. I don't think it's touching the trilogy. I definitely think it's the fourth. But you know what I'm saying? If you make 198, a 96, and a 90 on a test, you still gonna be happy about that 90, right? So I think it was a solid film. I think it introduced some new things, new characters, set up for a future movie potentially. So I'll mention that one as a solid one. One that I saw probably 2 months ago, whatever, is the Twisters sequel. And
Yeah.
it was solid, man. I think it was the original was obviously very good, but I think the new one it did a solid job as far as a modern day, 30 years post original sequel. So I think Twisters is one that I would recommend to folks I really liked. Um, Let me think. There's two movies that I've watched on not movie theater, but in on streaming. One is called The Beekeeper with I think it's Jason
Yeah.
Statham or whatever, however you pronounce his last name. It was on Amazon Prime. Very much Equalizer type of story, where it's just, you just get a
Yeah.
badass that, creatively likes to kill people, and that's what you watch for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I think but it
Yeah.
was a solid one. It was very modern and Statham, I haven't watched a movie of his where he's the lead guy in a while, so that was good. Another one though that I don't know if you've seen this one. It was on Netflix. I watched it a couple months ago. It's called The Land of Bad. And essentially what it
Land of Dad?
of bad with like a
Oh,
BAD.
bad.
Yeah. And so basically what it's about is apparently there's some kind of military conflict going on in some part of Asia, yada yada yada. It's apparently going on somewhat currently, but it's just not as big as of a headline, kind of conflict, so we just don't hear about it often. But it's like this very like stealth mode elite level military American soldier people go over there, and there's three folks that are like head honcho elite, and their fourth person, the one that's in charge of kind of communicating back to the base, he's kind of like the technology handler on the thing. He like
Yeah.
gets hurt or is like out of it, or he had to get replaced, whatever. So they bring this guy who has experience in training, but has never been in this like stealth mode, elite level mission, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, they literally put you in the middle of the jungle in Asia, and it's like you watching Asian militia people on this base, and they've got Middle Eastern terrorist people flying in. So you're watching it and just blowing up, and basically the rookie guy, it tracks his journey from crap hitting the fan to him getting through the jungle to where he can get picked up on a chopper and taken out of the war zone. Like it's just, man, you got to watch it. It's fire. Like it is, because I like a movie where, I mean, obviously I appreciate movies where, you're kind of on the outside just watching it unfold, but I really like a movie when I feel like I got a GoPro camera on and I'm in the middle of it. Kind of like an American Sniper type
Yeah.
vibe. You know what I'm saying? Where you like
You said it's on Netflix?
Yes, on Netflix. And kind of like the
Okay.
like American Sniper, where yes, there's parts where you're kind of watching it from afar, but there's a lot of especially them war scenes where you feel like you're sitting on bruh's shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like I love the ones where it's very immersive and like just action packed. So definitely check out Land of Bad. That's a fire one. I'm interested. You obviously have yours a little more organized. I need to get on that. Is it Letterbox? Is that the movie kind of?
Letterbox, bro.
Yeah. I need to
But
get
it's
Letterboxd
by
kinda-
far my favorite app
Yeah,
on
I
my
need
phone.
organize this a bit better. But I mean, as far as the like Marvel, Deadpool, Wolverine, that was a solid one in comparison to like, the recent ones they've been putting out, I think. I mean, those the Wolverine character and that whole X-Men stuff, that's just so nostalgic and legendary. It's kind of hard to mess that up. Or it's not hard to mess it up,
Yeah.
but it's easy to do it right, which they did. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
kind of some ones I just wanted to touch on. I think that Furiosa Mad Max movie, it was like a big name one, but I mean that's not really my style all the time. But that was one where it had a gigantic budget, so it's just incredible the stuff they were able to do with it. But yeah, so that's kind of my end. I'm sure you got some more to bring up, or maybe some of the ones I'm talking about.
And shoot, right? You know me. I freaking love movies. And shout out Christian Simons, our old roommate, because I would not be, I've always liked movies.
Right.
I would not be the movie lover I am unless I lived with him, because we watch so many freaking movies. If you don't have an app called Letterboxd and you like movies, you're missing out. Download the app right now. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. It's amazing. Man, I'm glad you mentioned the Planet of the Apes trilogy. Yes. I mean, in my eyes, near perfect. When you look at,
Literally.
like there's not much of a drop off from each movie.
Oh.
Really freaking solid. For me, this year at least, I didn't feel too strong about the movie sector. I didn't feel like there was a lot that came out that I was like, wow, this was amazing. I watched The Fall Guy. It was decent to good. But I'm gonna throw out a movie that I can't even believe I'm throwing out. It's called The Forge. It's a Christian movie, and that's why I can't believe I'm throwing it out.
No.
I love God, love Him with all my heart.
Absolutely.
But most Christian movies really struggle with production value. They just do. I mean, that's what we've seen. But man, when I tell you, I watched this movie in the theaters
Mm-hmm.
and I cried like 3 or 4 separate times. I mean, bruh, you know it hits when, and I'm not even trying to throw shade on the movie, but it was corny in a lot of ways. But yet I'm still getting emotional. Like I don't get emotional watching movies, bro.
Right.
But that junk, it just hit me different.
That's what's up.
So I got to throw that one out there because it surprised me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here looking at my list right now of Letterboxd movies. I mean, the movies that I've watched recently, they just have not. I like Twisters. I actually haven't seen the original, so I mean, I watched the new one, and I didn't have anything else to go off of. I was just like, okay, this is a good movie.
Right.
I have not seen Mad Max. I haven't seen the first one, so I didn't watch the new one either. But it does look good, and I've heard that it's really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that some movies come out that are really solid. But the next movie I'm about to watch is Joker 2. I can't remember what Joker.
Yeah.
I can't remember the words after that. Some French title. But bro, I heard that movie's trash.
Yeah.
Like everything I've heard is that it is not good.
Yeah. I remember we talked
and that kind of blows.
Yeah, because we talked about it last night, how I had seen some reviews on it, and it just kind of seems like they tried to go a different direction. And it's like, if somebody's wanting to go watch a Joker movie, they don't want a new direction. I mean, the Joker is the Joker because of the direction that it's the Joker direction. Like, don't mess it up, man. That's one of my favorite characters of all time. So I was looking forward, even the original Joker movie that came out probably, 5, 6 years ago. It was a little odd and a little off the cusp a little bit, but I still appreciated it because that's
Yeah,
the Joker is off the cusp. It's always a little weird, but hearing that it's just going a completely different direction, and I'm like, it's like why? Well, you had all the budget, you had all the resources, you had all the creativity, and why'd you mess it up? So yeah, I'll
I
probably still
agree.
watch it. I think I'm gonna wait till it comes out on streaming services or whatever, but yeah,
That's
I
fair.
hated to hear that it wasn't the direction we needed it to be.
Well, I didn't do this on purpose at all, but this is the perfect segue
Yeah.
into what we're going to talk about next, our high five segment, top five villains. It's a perfect segue because I'm assuming you'll agree with me on this. Maybe not.
Right.
Heath Ledger's Joker is by far number one for me.
Yeah,
By far.
best villain of all time.
Yeah. 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 So we're gonna rank the top five. I mean, it seems like we agree on number one, which is not just the Joker,
Yeah,
but Heath Ledger's Joker.
right.
You got to make that distinction because Jack Nicholson's good, but he ain't no Heath Ledger.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think the Joker, just to kind of dialogue it a little bit, is just the reason I think the Joker. Okay, hold on, let me backtrack. I'll say it like this. If a superhero is a 10 out of 10 superhero, I'm talking about your Supermans, your Rocky Balboa, X, Y, the third. If your hero is going to be that legendary 10 out of 10, but your villain is not good, I don't care. It's not like like that's just not what it is. For example, uh a movie that I probably won't ever rewatch, but it's still a solid movie, like a Spider-Man Homecoming with Tom Holland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom Holland killed that role, great character, high value Spider-Man movie, but the villain sucks. So it's like the value is not there to me. So a reason why I think Batman and Joker is the greatest hero villain duo of all time is because it's rare that your hero and your villain are similar. That's a crazy, whatever juxtaposition. How can the hero and the villain be similar? That doesn't make sense. Like they're supposed to be complete opposites. That's why they're against each other. With that Batman and Joker, man, I forget what movie it was. It may be the new Batman with Robert Pattinson. It may be Dark Knight with Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. It's just Batman and Joker mentally are on a similar wavelength. Now Joker uses his to do XYZ, Batman uses his to do XYZ, but at the end of the day, at the bare bones, they both struggle with things and they both have a thing to try to prove themselves XYZ. And so
Yeah.
I think that's why it's if T Ross was sitting here right now, he and I had when we watched the original, like the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, we kind of had a dialogue about it and just how interesting it was because that's so real. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so real why the Joker and Batman it's so unique and it's so honestly it's honestly unreplicable because of the
Yeah. Yeah.
nostalgia that those two characters have built for decades of time. So yeah, so I think the Joker character itself is number one, just out of the way it's foundationally kind of built. But as far as like a specific role that got played, man, Heath Ledger, I mean, just man, it's you can't even put into words how I don't even want to use the word excellent because the homie went bonk. You know what I'm saying? He had so many
Yeah.
issues personally and bonkers of, that were indirectly tied to that role, but just the way he was able to encapsulate and show off and represent that character was flawless.
Oh my God. I mean, I've seen that movie
Oh
a
man,
lot,
a
a
lot of
lot,
I might go watch.
and it's so quotable, bro. So quotable. I'll throw another one out while we're on the topic of Batman. To be honest with you, Bane is another top five for
Yeah,
me.
Bane
If
is
you think about Bane might be the most quotable villain in my eyes, at least for the movies that I've watched. I
right.
mean, bro, the amount of times that I've watched Dark Knight Rises just to listen to Bane's freaking
Right.
one-liners throughout the movie. And to follow up, Joker, I mean, dude, that's like impossible. And I still think he did a really good job.
Oh yeah.
So I'll throw Bane out there.
Yeah, Bane is.
We'll see where we stack him, but I like Bane.
That's another one too where superhero movies in general is crazy because especially like the comic book ones, yada yada, because it's so like it's just the foundation of that character is just built and developed for decades of time. Like it's just crazy. Like you can't do that now. You know what I'm saying? Like if the foundation wasn't laid in the 80s, it's not going to hit with the same depth in the 2020s. Like it's just crazy. And so Bane, similar the way that whole storyline is played out about, he was trained by the same people as Batman and all in the shadows and then it's phenomenal, man. But the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rise, I wish Batman Begins was a 10 out of 10 film because then that would be the best trilogy of all time. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
like
still think it is.
you think you still
Outside of Lord of the Rings.
oh, and see that's one that I need to get into with the Lord of the Rings and watch. See, because it's like the Batman Begins was such a outlier in that trilogy. Like we said with Planet of the Apes, for just to full circle it. I mean, I have my favorite out of those three, but if somebody argued the three in any other order, I'd hear them out and understand how they got there. You know what I'm saying? And so with Batman Begins, it's like if anybody said Batman Begins, man, that's by a mile the worst one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's where I kind of get, but I also see what you're saying. The value of the second and third is just so strong. I mean, it's like, it's like LeBron and Michael Jordan playing with Mario Chalmers. Like Chalmers still a dog, but you know what I'm saying? But the other two can just win you the game by themselves. So it's but yeah, so I get what you're saying. But yeah, so Bane, Joker, that's 2 for 2. You got any more you want to throw out or you want me to throw an idea?
You throw out a few.
So I'm gonna go with one that's not a comic book story type line. It really kind of plays into one of those, how do I say it? Like in WWE when like Hulk Hogan would fight like the Middle Eastern character because it was that was the time in America and that's the type of storyline. This is similar and it's your favorite movie series of all time, the Rocky movies. I think Ivan Drago got to be in this conversation.
Man,
That
man,
boy,
don't get me started,
that's
boy.
what I'm saying, bro. Like I love it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly. So I think Drago is one. Obviously, when that movie was getting produced and created, U.S., Soviet Union, all that type of deal. So it played into that narrative. But Drago and the way they developed it, where in Rocky 3, if you haven't watched the Rocky movies by now, get a grip. Spoiler alert. So in Rocky 3, I mean, when he kills Apollo Creed, man. And then you come back in Rocky 4, and man, Rocky 4 might be my favorite Rocky. And so it's like it's just so legendary. And I mean, I don't know what rock or casting, whatever pre-interview they had, but whoever casted Ivan Drago's, whatever his real name is, perfection.
Oh my gosh.
Perfection.
Dolph
He looked like
Lundgren, I think.
with a haircut, man. I mean, he looked
Yeah.
Soviet Hercules to a T. And I mean that whole movie, man. And that's the thing. You see Rocky fight these other people. I mean, even when he fights like a Clubber Lang, great story, but nobody's beating the Rocky 4 movie as far as the villain because the villain was so strong.
So good, bro. So good.
So I'm gonna throw out Ivan Drago. I ain't gonna say where it ranks, but hopefully with your luck in movies, I'm gonna throw that up.
Well, you got my vote on that.
All right. Well, cool. Who else you got?
Man, I'm gonna throw one out that kind of like the movie I threw out with the Forge. People probably are not gonna be expecting.
All right.
I'm a huge 101, 102 Dalmatians fan.
Oh my
I
God.
love those
Bro, I
movies.
swear to God, I've got the damn name written on this piece of paper.
Cruella de Vil, bro. Cruella de Vil.
I
Bro,
can't make
such
this
a
up.
goated villain.
I can't make this up, Demo. You see that? Cruella de Vil. I can't make this up. Oh my God. That's a great one. That's a great one, D. And you know why it's a great one? I'm a grown man that's not scared of too many things. But when I was 7 years old, bruh, and my grandma took me to the Boston, Georgia library, and she said, Chase, you can pick out one book and one movie. You staying at my house for a week. Pick out what you want. I said, all right, grandma. All right, Nana. I went and grabbed me a book. I didn't read the book, so I don't care. And I went and picked out the live action 101 Dalmatians. And I don't know what her name is in real life. I don't really want to know it. But when Cruella de Vil was in that movie, boy, I cut that movie off so fast. Man, what? That lady, to this day, if she walked in my office right now, I'm squaring up. Man, that lady crazy. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. So Cruella de Vil, great choice because I got a personal childhood vendetta against that actress.
There are characters that are not like scary in the sense of like they're super powerful and like they got these big muscles and can hurt you necessarily. Cruella de Vil might be the creepiest character I've ever watched, bro. When I was a kid, man, I used to be balling up in between the couch cushions, closing my eyes, shrinking my body as much as possible, bro. That lady spooked me out, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I loved it, bro. I can't lie.
I swear, bro. I swear.
That's hilarious that we both had her, bro. Oh my gosh. It makes me want to go watch that movie again.
Hell no. I'm 22 years old. I still ain't got the desire to face that lady. No.
Yeah, bro. My roommate ain't back in town yet. I can't be watching that movie alone.
No. That's hilarious. All right,
bro,
well,
I love that.
The fact that because you thought that was gonna be left field, and I was right at the catcher's plate, ready to catch that one. That's crazy.
I did, yeah, bro. I was like, nah, ain't no way. Chase is expecting this or anybody.
Yeah, I got 5 names on this piece of paper, and Cruella one of them. All right, so let's go. All right, so we said Joker, we said Bane, Cruella, Ivan Drago. This is the last superhero one that I'm gonna throw out, and if you're like, man, why y'all got so many superheroes? Start your own podcast and argue with your mama, because I ain't the one. I'm gonna go with another superhero. The Green Goblin. Great one. Great one. Best best Spider-Man villain. Right now. We're gonna see how this Spider-Verse, what's his name? Spot, the white guy with
yeah.
I'm gonna see how he plays out because he's got potential to be the most powerful. But Green Goblin, as far as the live action joints go, he was against Peter Parker and Tobey Maguire. That one's good again because of how the story plays out, man. It's the best when you're not just a black and white normal villain story. You know what I'm saying? It's like when it's the guy you want to go work for Dr. Osborn. You're best friends with his son. Yada yada yada. And this is how it turned. I mean, it's just fire, man. It's fire. And it's just the same thing, not similar to Joker, because Joker was just all the way crazy. But the Green Goblin character, where it's like that devil on your shoulder type of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
He's trying to be Norman Osborn, but he sees that mask and it just grips him and takes over. It's such an intriguing character, man. And so I think, and Batman, I mean, I keep messing up the superhero. Spider-Man is top 2 my favorite superheroes of all time. So I think with the whole Spider-Man, that's a reason I love Spider-Man so much is because of all the cool villains he gets to go against. But yeah, Green Goblin, that's a solid one for me.
I thought about Green Goblin, and I don't hate that at all. I really like. Yeah. Now, only the Tobey Maguire one.
Correct.
I loved Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. The Green Goblin character was not good in it. But I agree. Norman Osborn, bro, and just the dynamic, it was a good character. And you could feel the tension, which is what I love the most about that specific Green Goblin. And I'm blanking on the actor's name. But he did a really good job of especially playing the Norman Osborn character. You know what I'm saying? Where like he really sold it.
Is it what's his name? William DeVoe or something like that?
What? Yeah. William Defoe.
DeFoe.
Yeah.
DeFoe, there you
Yeah. Yeah. No, he killed it, bro. He did a really good job. The other two I have on my list, one of them is a Spider-Man villain. Is Venom.
go. Okay.
I love Venom.
See
I,
that
I thought Venom was so tough, bro.
right there.
Like,
See, I think there's one that's on the last one on my list. I think is a character that you may not know, like, or have watched or know about. But Venom is kind of like that with me. I know of it, and shot in I think in like 3 weeks there's a new Venom movie coming out, so I'll be
yeah,
able to explore it a little more. But I need to go back and watch the Venom movies that are already out because I've never taken a deep dive into that character. Um,
well, so I'm more referring to the Spider-Man 3 Venom, like Tobey
okay, okay,
Maguire.
okay. Well, in that case, then yeah, I know that one for sure. Yeah, that's solid. That
Yeah.
Venom
I
character,
really like that one.
yeah, it
Because
is.
I don't know that I would consider like the Venom movies as
Right.
a villain. He's more of an anti-hero than a villain. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
Um, and then the other one, you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, so you won't be familiar with this one. But Sauron is, bro.
I read a little bit about him before we recorded and like saw it, and from the looks of it and the little like tip of the iceberg I read, it looks phenomenal.
Oh my gosh, dude! When you have like some major time on your hands where you can really sit down and watch all three movies because they are long,
Right.
dude, it's beautiful, bro. The way because it builds up. Like it's not just snap your fingers and boom, the villain's there.
Cool.
It's a journey. But bro, those are a lot of good villains.
I think that the last one I'm gonna mention, and if anybody watching this is a Game of Thrones fan, you'll understand what I'm talking about. There's a guy, and I'll try to paint the picture for you best I can, Devo. There's a guy named Ramsay Bolton. And essentially in Game of Thrones, it's like the Bible, bruh. If you don't lock in for every word, you ain't gonna know who's who, because it is, I mean, there's Aegon, Aemond, Aeon, Aaron. Like, I mean, these jokers got the same. I mean, if the incest wasn't clear enough, everybody named their kids with one different letter. I mean, it was crazy. So, but essentially with Ramsay Bolton, his dad was like this lord, yada yada yada. I'm trying to like make it normal terms, but like let's say there's the state of Georgia, right? And
Okay.
you take Atlanta, Savannah, Macon, Valdosta, Columbus, Athens, whichever one has the most powerful leader, he gets to be the Lord of Georgia type deal, or like the King of Georgia type deal, right? But it can
Yeah.
change based on if Atlanta is struggling and Savannah's on the up. All right, cool. The Savannah leader gets to be the King of Georgia. So basically, this area of whatever Ramsey's dad, Lord Bolton or whatever, he was killing it. So they make him the king of the north or whatever. Well, he dies, I think, or even if he's still in charge, he's letting Ramsey, his son, run all these things. And dude, when I tell you Ramsey Bolton was one of the most evil people I've ever seen, bro. Like they would, the Boltons and these people would battle or whatever, and he would go take the son, they'd kidnap the son. He'd take him back to where they at. I'm talking about Davo. He would tear off his toenails one by one trying to get answers on stuff. He would, I ain't even gonna get into the graphic parts, but he would cut off body parts and ship them back to bro's family saying, ha ha, we got him locked up. What you gonna come? You don't even know where we at. What you gonna come do about it? Here's his left finger. I mean, like, the stuff he would do to women. Yeah, I mean, he would take people he don't even know, but he's like, oh, you and him talk to each other. Y'all cool? Kidnap them, put them in the pit. Joker got about 8 dogs he let off in there, eat them up.
Right.
I mean, like, he's crazy, and he wouldn't even. Some villains, they claim to be bad, but they just kind of sit back in the cut and like make the calls. No. Ramsey gonna let this dog eat you up, and he gonna sit right there and watch the dog bite you. Like I can't even describe it the best way. But Ramsey Bolton is a vote for me. I don't know if he makes our top 5, whatever, whoop, it don't matter. But if anybody watching this is a Game of Thrones fan, you know what I'm talking about.
All right, man. Let's rank these things. We both agree that Joker is at number 1.
Yeah.
So really, I guess we can start at 5 and work our way down to 2,
Let's
or we can flip flop it. What
you know
you thinking?
let's start at 2 just so that because I feel like we've got like 8 that we mentioned, so let's keep it. We'll just like work our way down, see where they fall. I think the way I'm kind of trying to think to rank them is I'll say it like to me, a thing that makes a really good villain is if you're a really good villain, there's a shot you could really win the battle. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like Ivan Drago, like we're watching him fight Balboa, and yeah, everybody's rooting for Balboa, but Drago is the mountain. You know what I'm saying? It's not a Goliath versus Goliath in that situation. Like it's such a when the villain,
Yeah.
part of the reason they're so intimidating is because they're real deal capable of taking over. You know, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah. I do.
it's not just scary, it's intimidating because they can really be dominant.
Yeah.
So that's just something that kind of plays a role to me. Um,
Okay.
so, but with that being said, I'll say number 2. I mean, I hate to be back to back Batman bias, but I mean, dadgum. I mean, Bane is one of them ones. I mean, he's one of them ones where it's like Bane could real deal beat Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like I mean, he's up there.
I don't disagree with you.
I
I
mean,
don't.
I think so we can consider Bane in that next tier. The other one will flip to Spider-Man. I think Venom in the sense of like when you think about like the practical like the way like Venom is kind of built, like the like the stuff that gets on you and turns you into Venom, like
Yeah.
that's like I'm surprised there's not a Venom movie where Venom literally takes over the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like real deal.
Yeah.
That's a scary one too. So I mean, you tell me what you thinking, dude.
I can't put Venom at
No,
2
not a
because.
two. I was just kind of meaning like the sense of the like the scare factor.
Oh, okay. My
But
only issue with Venom, in my eyes, if he was in the top 5, he'd be at 5, is
yeah,
that felt like like the character itself wasn't wasn't developed the way it could have been.
exactly.
I felt like it could have been even better.
Oh,
You know, like with Bane, with of course with Joker, heck with Cruella, even Green Goblin. I don't I don't really feel like could have been more that they could have done.
right.
With Venom, I did and do feel like sometimes there was just something missing. You know, like maybe there was an edge that could have been there that they didn't add. But yeah, it didn't feel like a complete character to me. But I mean, clearly it's a great character given that we're talking about it. But yeah, I don't know if that's making sense, but
No,
it
it
felt
does.
like there's something missing with
Okay,
Venom that could have been added.
right.
Um,
I agree with you. I'm thinking when I'm talking about Venom, like you're saying, I'm thinking about the concept of Venom as what's
yeah,
that, but the actual role that we can view on screen is not that. You know what I'm
and
saying?
that's my issue with it.
It hasn't been invested into like a Joker or like a the guy from game Lord of the Rings. Like it didn't get invested into like that. So yeah, I fully get what you're saying there. Second side note is did we unintentionally leave out Thanos?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about Thanos,
Okay.
and honestly, not talking about him in the top 5 is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
Thinking I'm like Thanos is one that's like it's Thanos. Like what are we talking about? It's Thanos. And like that's
And like he did conquer the world. Like he did win in the movie. I mean, of course, the next one he doesn't, but
but it's like he did, and it's like the storyline, man, like sacrificing his daughter and all this XYZ, like homie had a real deal story. I think this is just, I mean, 30 seconds ago we didn't mention his name, but it's Thanos number 2.
Bro. Yeah,
That's
he
right.
is.
That's right.
He is.
Smooth. All right, I'll claim Thanos as my contribution. We'll go number 2 for Thanos. So what we thinking for 3? What we think? So Bane obviously still in the talk. I mean I wouldn't be pissed off to throw Drago in this conversation.
No,
Um,
I wouldn't either, bro. I feel like this is where it gets tough because for the sake of uniqueness, bro, I almost want to say Cruella at 3. Just for the sheer factor of like, how many times are you talking about a villain in the confines of a movie about dogs? It's like, bro, we are talking about a villain that that is going against Dalmatians. Like, I low key feel like Cruella's at 3, bro.
this is such a like somebody is gonna see this list and think we smoke the highest level of meth, bro. Like somebody gonna say Joker, Thanos, you got a clown, you got a alien that killed the world, and you got a fashion designer who hates dogs. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna lie with you. I want to put Cruella at 3, but I'm okay with dropping Cruella down more. But just the sheer uniqueness, bro. I mean, how
I
funny
feel
is
you
it?
though. Like I feel you. Like I can watch. I will sit there and watch Heath Ledger be the Joker 10 hours a day. I watch Cruella DeVille for 10 minutes in that movie and I'm spooked. It's crazy. Like, oh my God. I mean, I from the sake of like practically like looking at these names like Green Goblin, Ivan Drago, Venom, Bane, and we talking about an old lady that kills dogs like it's crazy. But I hear you though. I hear you. They killed
I
it.
mean,
They really because and I'll say it like this too. I mean, Disney, we honestly could do lists for this. We could do a superhero villain list, a Disney villain list.
yeah.
We can go all directions.
Oh yeah, dude. We honestly we kept it so vague, bro. There's so many that we didn't
I know.
mention,
I know.
but
We'll get that. We'll get specific.
we
Good thing
will.
is we're gonna be doing this forever. So it's
Yeah,
we'll like
facts.
but I mean, you know what? I'm in the mood right now to say screw it. Yeah. I mean, like
Let's do it,
I
bro.
mean Cruella DeVille, top 3, baby. That's
I
fire.
love it, dude. I freaking love that.
That's fire. Um, yeah, man, that's crazy. Shout out
Oh my gosh, bro.
Cruella.
Oh,
So we got 2 spots left. The names up in the air. We got Venom, Bane, Ramsey Bolton, which I'll leave him out just for the sake of I want it to be a unified passion for the picks. So okay, so Bane, I'm gonna take Green Goblin over Venom because of how the role was invested into.
I agree with that.
Okay, so I'll go
I agree with that.
Bane. Honestly, let's keep Bane, Goblin, Drago. We got to pick 2, and I think the 2 is kind of clear. I think Drago needs to be in that top 2. Um, and I
I
mean,
think Bane has to be in the top 5, man.
right, that's what I'm kind of feeling. Which if Green Goblin's at 6, then I feel like our list is a dog list. I think we hit
It's like the college football playoff, bro. We'll have to add a little first 2 out at the bottom.
right. So
No,
yeah,
I agree though. I mean, I think Bane at 4,
Drago 5.
um, and Drago 5. I mean, bro, Drago straight up killed Apollo Creed in the ring. Like,
Right.
oh, man, dude, it is tough to leave Green Goblin out.
But
I mean, heck, it's tough to leave the dude you mentioned from Game of Thrones and Sauron out, but
yeah. I
I feel good about that list.
yeah,
I really do.
I think that's solid. We'll do that.
Right. Cruella at 3, man. I love that.
That's fire, man. Cruella and like Could you imagine if they're like, I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's like these what if like stories where they take like it's just like crossover episode. Imagine a
Oh
thing,
yeah, yeah.
imagine a thing where Joker and Cruella DeVille, like Cruella was like she was a fashion designer in Gotham. You know what I'm saying? It was like a Cruella and Joker type deal. Like that'd be crazy.
Right, dude, bro. If I bump into Cruella Deville in the alleys of Gotham,
Like,
she don't
bro,
have to do anything. I already died, bro.
bro,
Like,
I'm dead. Or like if Cruella DeVille was like Harley Quinn's mom or something, like that's you want to talk about crime family. Crazy.
bro, she's just straight up creepy. Like, like creepy and scary to me are two completely different things.
Right.
Joker's both actually. Like Bane is scary. Like Bane just doesn't creep me out. He's just scary.
Right.
Cruella Deville is creepy, bro. Bro, she's one of them villains. You feel like she's tiptoeing like that
Yeah.
with the long arms and some frazzled out hair. Like,
Yeah,
keep
bro.
me away.
I swear. That bro, I still can't believe, bro. Like, no way we both had Cruella DeVille, bro. Like that is crazy. That's crazy.
Man, we might just have to throw Cruella Deville on a polo because that's what we're doing right now. We're building a polo.
Yeah.
Tabo, I mean, this is your world completely. I mean, heck, bro, your shirts are filthy. Let me do a little rewind because I've not even told you this, bro. You don't
Let's
know this at all.
let's do it.
There was a point in my life where obviously my brother is a music artist,
Right.
and this is when heck I was in high school. He was in high school. He was a senior. I was a freshman. We had another friend named Bailey, and we took ourselves very serious. My brother was an artist, and I wanted to help. I thought it was cool, dude. I had a little spurt of time where I made shirts for him,
Wow.
and it was called GGMB. That was like our brand.
Fire.
It stood for God's Got My Back. And
Fire.
I remember, man, I thought I was like this freaking creative mastermind because I sent some emails to a graphic designer and got a logo.
Fire.
I was like, man, nobody can touch me, bro. I'm on top of the world. And
Fire.
we made a little bit of money off of it, but that is my little t-shirt story
Fire.
where I'm gonna have to find one, bro, and send it to you
Yeah, no, that's tough.
because it holds a special place in my heart.
That's
It was dope. But all right. Anyways, I had to share that.
that's fire.
We're gonna build a polo, and I don't even freaking know where to begin, bro. I'm gonna let you kind of steer the ship here.
Right.
I kind of have ideas, but
Yeah.
I don't know the framework in which we do this.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, this is when you told me this idea, we can build a polo. I was like, all right, we'll figure it out. So yeah, I mean, I think, if anybody's watching this, I have two apparel brands, one being more of a streetwear graphic t-shirt type of style, which is a style that I used to rock a lot of times, especially back in high school, whatever. Kind of switched it up now to more of, collared shirt, khaki pants, yada yada, this, that, the third. So, and then recently, at the beginning of this year, I created the Sweet Tea. That's T with two E's, like a golf tee. The Sweet Tea Golf Club, and that's where I kind of branched into more golf style apparel, like we're talking about right now. So, yeah, I mean, I think with the build a polo, I think first we can start with we can either go like a theme or we can go color. And I think, that'll kind of
Okay.
help determine, what we're feeling. I say from as far as the steps go for how we can do this, quick but creative. I say we pick a color, we can pick like a pattern or style, and then
Okay.
I say we can either pick like an emblem or a logo or something that we want to throw on there as well. I think once we get those kind of steps in mind, we can kind of get a visual and see if we want to
Okay.
add anything else.
Okay. All right. I got a pen and a piece of paper below me so I can write this stuff down.
What's up?
Man, I'm thinking the two colors that come to my mind off the rip is like a baby light blue
Okay.
or a cream color, that the off-white
Like that.
cream, bro. I love that color. And
Yeah,
I think it looks good on polos. It's unique and it's not very common,
most
but I
definitely.
think done right, it looks sick.
Right.
Those are the two colors I'm thinking. What are you feeling with that?
No, I like that. I think we can definitely rock out with that. I think let's go with that's two good ones. The baby blue and it's so opposite, but both individually cool. Because I always, when I hear one color, I try to think what, color I may pair it with that'll
Yeah.
complement it
Yeah.
as far as a logo or a pattern. Um, I say let's go with the cream color. Let's go with a neutral vibe so
Bet.
we can make something pop. Um,
Okay.
kind of give us a solid canvas to work on. So I mean,
Okay.
you think you want to go with a like not like a solid color, or you want to throw like, see if I mean, obviously it's different when you're just brainstorming it to like, actually getting one in hand. But, I mean, I think when I hear cream color, I start to go different ways. I mean, a theme that comes to me is like, okay, cool. We can go with the off-white cream color and kind of treat it like sand. You know what I'm saying? And then you can go into a vibe where you can go beach vibe, or you can go to like a desert vibe. It's like whatever you're
Yeah.
thinking with that.
I'm kind of thinking like retro vibe.
Okay.
Kind of like old school polo.
Yeah. I like that.
Um,
I think
I have my granddad kind of,
I,
he's
I
passed away now, but
know what you're talking about.
kind of the way I remember him is I have a polo of his,
Yeah.
and it's not cream colored, but
It's
it
like,
is like a light brown.
yeah,
Um, and that's kind of partially what I'm thinking of
right.
is
No,
like that classic vibe,
I've
man.
seen you wear it, man. It's fire. And like,
Yeah.
and I kind of relate to my grandpa, same thing, passed away a little while ago, but he had a cup that he would use, like it was his cup. Like he would never 7 days a week, if he's sipping that out of a cup at the wherever, running errands home, he got this cup. And it was, I mean, he had been his cup for years. So you got all the, sweet tea in it, lemonade, whatever. It had like stained the cup to this kind of like this gold color. And man, it was just like so when you talk about the polo that your granddad had, it kind of gives me that vibe, like the old, like, sitting in the back of the restaurant with smoke in the air type of aura. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'd say
Yeah.
we could all, I think like a cream colored, like a kind of a light brown cream color with, you could throw like a faded chocolate brown skinny stripes on it. You know what I'm saying? And then like kind of just like because that's more of a old where it's like spaced out, but it's the skinny stripes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good place to start with that. That's I like that. What
Okay.
so as far as like we could say branding or just like logo, whatever, like what type of idea would you want to do this? I'll throw this out. There's a brand called Kith, Kith, that's really cool. And a thing they do often is co-brand. So, they may collaborate with a NASCAR team and they make a whole branding scheme of the collab. So it'll be like a NASCAR looking logo, but it'll say Kith on it. And so I think if we make this build a polo thing a kind of recurring idea, we can kind of treat it like that, where if we want to go a vintage vibe, we can get a vintage logo and then just put lunch table or whatever we want to put into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Bro, low key, what would be tough, we can go two routes here, right? You already got your brand Chabo.
Yep.
We could do a collab of sorts where I'm essentially launching my own brand at this point. A Davo times Chabo collab
Right.
logo.
Most
Um, or we could do the lunch table
right.
logo, which would be tough too.
Right.
Um, but the reason I bring up the Davo Chabo is I feel like because I'm thinking of your font and your script right now.
Hmm.
I feel like it kind of has that classic feel. Like if you stick it on a polo,
Like when you say the script, like the Chabo like cursive type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's solid. It's like I kind of use it like when an artist like makes a painting and they'll like initial or something on the bottom of the painting. That's kind of the theme with that is like it's like my signature, on stuff that I make. And I kind of and like you said, I treat the Chabo like cursive one or the whatever, like that's what I'll put. It's kind of my signature on a lot of the graphic t-shirts and stuff. To where
Okay.
the way my whatever you want to call it, like LLC or whatever, is kind of structured is like there's the Chabo family, kind of it's like a whole it's like the umbrella, my so that way my family is all intertwined in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm making sure family
Yeah.
get in on deals and profits and when I'm curating. I mean, I get my mom, hey mom, come out here and help with the photographer for this thing. Hey pops, which one of these two you like better? I'm gonna make sure I get them in your size. Jackson, my brother, come in and let's get these ideas and which themes do you like better? How would you adjust them? Because it's a family thing. And so it's like
Yeah.
the Chabo family, and then under that is where you have the brand Chabo, where that's kind of like the brand itself and the apparel. And
Okay.
then the sweet tea kind of fall. It's on the brand Chabo page, and it kind of fall. It's on brandchabo.com, kind of falls in that category. So I think yeah, we can definitely get something cooking where it's like we come up with it can be lunch table centric. It can just be we throw stuff out for fun. It's like it ain't got to be some whole rollout as
Yeah.
much as just hey, what shirt you got on? Oh, me and my homie made it. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I say with the cream colored shirt, we can get some brown thin stripes cross it. So as far as the logo part itself, we can go old school, and it ain't got to be something we come up with right this second because it takes time to build that stuff. But we can get, like that can be the style that we envision. This can kind of just be an envision, and who knows, we might be rocking the shirt in the future. Where it's kind of like an old vintage, I almost want to say like vintage diner type of logo because of
Yes, bro. Yes.
because, like I'm saying, with the aura, like I mean, my grandfather, he had a lot of good qualities, but one thing that man would do day in and day out is puff that cigarette. So when it's like it's one of them things where I think about my grandpa, I smell that cigarette smoke on him. What's up, grandpa? That's how. So I feel that. So yeah, I like that aura. I think we can kind of put together a little vintage diner type of, or I can put together a little vintage diner type of logo, and we can figure out if we want to. I mean, I'm thinking about it already, like a vertical piece where we vertically put lunch table. You know what I'm saying? It's two words that are 5 letters apiece. You kind of stagger them a little bit. You find some other type of, of like a neon light type of diner, whatever. I think we can make something shake like that.
Bro, I love that. I love that. We could, I mean, you know how a lot of those retro polos, they have like the trim on the sleeve,
Yeah,
or like they have like a pattern
yeah,
on the cuffs of the sleeves.
like that.
Um, we could stripe that. And my last thought was, and this is something that you just don't see at all on a shirt, but I think it could be tough, and maybe it's not, and maybe it's a bad idea. On the back of the shirt, like on the shoulder, pretty high up. What if we had I don't know what it would say,
Right,
but we had either like some sort of like quick tagline. Uh,
right,
Maybe it's Davo times Chabo,
right. No, I think that's
but
too.
I'm thinking like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm such a symmetrical guy because I know what you're talking about with the back shoulder because Nike does it. And it's a genius reason why Nike does it because it's whenever you hit your golf swing and you posing and the camera getting on you, they showing that back shoulder blade. So, I mean, they on that type of that's that corporate thought. But
Yeah.
I think for ours, I kind of like a centered, more symmetrical piece where you can either put it on the top of the spine right below
Yeah.
where the collar would be, or if you really want to get funky, you put it on the collar itself. So it's at the top. You know what I'm saying? It's on the back of the, so when you pull that collar down and you walking, it's right there on the collar. So I think we could do something like that as well.
Bro, I like the spine idea. I think centered
Yeah,
below the collar,
yeah. Fire,
I think that'd be tough.
fire. I think that's a great idea. Let's move them. Well, we'll see. Yeah, obviously, this is the first time we're doing it. I'll see what I can cook up. I'll be researching to see if we can find a polo that's, on that similar, do some deep diving in some warehouses and see what they got and just try to put the vision, out there on our social media as far as,
Yeah.
seeing it in part, seeing the vision outside of just in our minds. So yeah, I like that. I think
Yeah. Bro, if it's clean, man, oh my gosh, that would be crazy.
yes, sir. I bet it will be. I'll cook up a little logo with the retro vibe, see, and try to match it up to where it looks, cohesive. But yeah, I think that's a great.
Heck yeah.
We do,
Heck yeah, bro.
we used to do that 1% segment on these episodes where, we talk about sports 99% of the time, just the 1%. It feels like flip-flop right now. I mean, we talking about everything. I love it, man. We starting
Bro, facts. I mean, bro, we started the episode with a song.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, for real, we Sunday service choir, Satan, we're gonna tear the kingdom down. Then we move into NFL, what we thinking. Then we moving into Cruella DeVille, man. Like I'm about to flip my computer. I mean, when I at the start of the episode, when I say I'm everywhere and in one place at the same time. I mean, you ain't got to hear me say it. Just watch this episode, man. And so you see, we get into the villains. We got future segments planned as far as taking you guys across the country to explore some different institutions. And then of course we finish it off with building some clothes, man. That's what I do in my head a lot of the time. So yeah, man, I love it. I'm glad to be back with you, man. It's I know
Facts.
people been hitting you up, they've been hitting me up. Man, like I want to watch some more podcasts. I want to see what you guys cooking up. And it's good to have even one set of ears or one set of eyes on this because it makes us want to do it even more. And like the whole reason we started this, staying connected.
Yep. And bro, that's exactly what's happened. I mean, 2.5 hours on the phone last night.
About
It's
another
crazy, bro.
day.
Yep. Shoot, man. We're finally back in here. We are going to roll out episodes every single Wednesday.
Yes,
so I know that previously we were kind of throwing them out when we could.
Yep.
You can expect an episode every week on Wednesday. That's how it's going to be. Of course, appreciate y'all's support. Tune in, follow the page on Instagram and Twitter. Lunch Table Podcast with Davo and Chabo. We're going to be posting a lot of stuff, a lot of clips of the episodes on there. So if you can't watch however long our episode is, go to the Instagram. Maybe you'll catch a 30-second clip of us. We've said it a lot. But talking about Cruella DeVille, and you're like, man, I wonder what the heck else they talked about if that was their top 3 villain. That's all we got for y'all. We appreciate the support, appreciate the love, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Yes,
Peace.
sir.
Elbow room.